Two GOP members of the Wayne County, Michigan Board of Canvassers say they were bullied and intimidated into voting to certify the county's election results for Joe Biden there. Now, their initial concern was the fact that voting totals couldn't be reconciled in 70% of absentee counting precincts in Detroit. Now, Democrats viciously attacked and threatened the GOP canvassers over their concerns, even calling them racist. Well, today, despite all of that intimidation, Monica Palmer and Bill Hartman rescinded their votes, and they joined the Ingram Angle exclusively. Thank you both for being here and having the courage to speak out. I want all our viewers to see how you both were treated during this process. Watch.
Stink. The stain of racism that you, William Hartman, and Monica Palmer have just covered yourself in is going to follow you throughout history. Your grandchildren are going to think of you like Bull Connor or George Wallace. And Lord knows, when you go to meet your maker, your soul is going to be very, very warm.
He's unhinged. Monica, this is just the kind of harassment that you faced after your initial vote. He's a fairly prominent business person. What have you experienced since?
It's continued. He's used his social media platform to repeatedly dox me, post my phone number, my home address, my email address, and encourage people to stop by my house and share their anger with me.
Are you kidding me? So this man with all of his money and all of his business contacts and all of his social media decides to pick on you in what social media has said is you can't do, and to frankly put your life in danger. That's what he's doing. And Bill, have any of your critics looked into any of your concerns over the vote totals in Detroit that were not, in your view, adding up?
Yes, they have. We've had some other people come along and look into those things. And normally when we get, when we're at the meeting, we get what's called an over-under report. And we didn't get that report this year or this time. Instead, we were given it orally and we had to record everything by hand.
Well, the Washington Post is reporting tonight that one of the two Republican members of the four-member Michigan canvassing board, Norman Schinkel, said that he's leaning toward asking for a delay in the certification for the state vote, calling for an audit. Now, the board is scheduled to vote, I guess, Monday, guys. So I do think with all the potential problems, he said, if any of them are true, an audit is appropriate. Monica, tell us how important that news is, breaking news tonight, about accountability and transparency. It's starting to resonate with other officials in Michigan, it looks like.
Yeah, it's absolutely needed. The purpose of the canvass is to make sure every legal vote is counted and tallied right, that you have complete and accurate documentation. And when you have a precinct that's unbalanced without an explanation, that doesn't satisfy the requirement. And that is why we initially voted no for certification. After some deliberation with Vice Chair Kinlock, he offered an audit for our unbalanced precincts. An audit, comprehensive, should be able to dig down and find the explanation of why the number of voters doesn't match the number of ballots cast. So I'm excited to see that there's a spread for this desire to see the rules followed consistently across the state.
So the number of ballots don't equal the number of votes cast when you say out of balance. Is that correct? Am I stating it correctly, Bill?
Yes, it is. That's what I mean by the over-under report. We want everything to balance, like your checkbook balances to your bank account. And then you can, if everything balances, then you can recount it. But if it doesn't balance, then you cannot recount it. And that's our goal, is to try and get everything in balance.
Well, again, Monica, you wrote in your affidavit that after the vote, public comment period began, and dozens of people made personal remarks against you and Bill. The comments made these accusations of racism, threatened you and your members of your family. How are you and your family holding up in the face of these unconscionable threats?
I'm very lucky to have a supportive family They're behind me 100%. They believe that I'm doing the right thing, and we're just taking it one day at a time and being thankful for each other. Reached out to my parents. They're a little concerned, rightly so, with what they're seeing in the news and on social media. So we're just doing the best we can to stay safe.
And Bill, very, very quickly, are there any local reporters, state reporters in Michigan, who find what's happened to you and Monica to be very distressing? And curious about your allegations of these discrepancies.
Right. We've had a lot of reporters ask us for interviews. We've held off because of counsel said at this time we shouldn't give interviews. My attorney, Mark Mandel, told me not to make it, to give any interviews. Yours is actually like the first one. So we're trying to wait and see what happens with the State Board of Canvassers. And that's a breath of fresh air that you just announced.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's an obvious that this should happen. And here's a hint to the Wayne County Canvassing Board. If you're going to have a Zoom call, you got to turn the mute off, okay? Because the people couldn't hear what was being said. That was a cute little mistake as well. Monica and Bill, thank you for giving the exclusive to the Ingram angle. We take every allegation seriously, and we take every concern from people who know this world of canvassing and counting and the process very seriously. And we really appreciate your courage as American citizens in speaking out. Thank you.